All right. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the delay. I got into I got into a labor dispute with the boom operators. Look at that coconut. Shalom, shalom, everybody. Big up Uncle Duran. Ok. Buenas noches a todo el mundo. Buenas noches, buenas tardes y buenos días, dependiendo en qué parte del mundo te encuentro. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody, depending on what part of the world I find you in right now. Depending on what part of the world I find you in. All praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Hamashiach. All right, so we're doing number 9. Number 9 of we'd like to welcome everybody to another episode of
It's About Time.
Welcome everybody to another episode of
It's About Time.
Welcome everybody to another episode of
It's About Time.
Okay, all praise to Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach Yahushai. All right, so another episode of It's About Time. All right, where it's all about time. A conference line about time. All right, it's a conference line about time. All right, so now the concept of time that we're going to be talking about today is happening in 39 and in 40 days, which is the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. All right, the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. All right, so we know Passover. I left off right here, or Pascua. Pascua no tiene nada que ver con coneja, ni con huevos. Passover don't have nothing to do with bunny eggs and rabbits. Pero es el tiempo, es un día santo cuando salimos los israelitas de Egipto. It's a holy day when we left, the Israelites, we left the land of Egypt. We left the land of Egypt. Okay? We left the land of Egypt. All right, so now when we left the land of Egypt, what we did was, when we left the land of Egypt, what we did was, experience a tremendous stressful situation, okay? And the Most High said to remember this day forever, when he brought us out of the land of Egypt, all right? When he brought us out of the land of Egypt. So we have to remember this day forever, all right? The Most High, Yahweh, brought us out of Egypt, and you know something? He brought us out of Egypt, okay? He brought us out of Egypt. Can I get back to my other screen? Okay, oh yeah. All right, so he brought us out of Egypt again. I'm sure you heard that like 3 times. And we celebrate this day when he brought us out of Egypt, all right, to commemorate it and to respect and honor, what the Most High Yahweh, what he did for us. Okay. All right, so we have to understand the fact that Yahweh wants us to celebrate this day forever. So of course, this is all part of our understanding of time. All right, it's part of our understanding of time. All right, because it was our families. All right, you know how people, how you want to celebrate Juneteenth. This is Juneteenth, right? People want to celebrate Juneteenth. Well, when we came out of Egypt, that's like the original Juneteenth. That's like the original Juneteenth because it celebrates when we came out of Egypt by the power of the Most High, the power of Yahweh, and He brought us into our own homeland. He brought us out of continental Africa and brought us into the land of Israel. Brought us into the land of Israel. All right. He brought us into the land of Israel. And brought us out from amongst the Egyptians. So whatever they had going on down there, we knew that Yahweh didn't want us going on in there. Oh, you just did that? This is unavailable in the reading. All right, so we know that whatever was going on in Israel, whatever's going on in Egypt, He did not want us, to have nothing to do with what they were doing down there. All right, we didn't have nothing to do with that. He totally told us not to be fooling around with what the Egyptians were doing. All right, so as we deal with the day of Passover, what I want to do is I want to go into the scriptures and we're going to show you the premise of Passover in the Bible. Right now, the sun is going down now. It's about 7 something. All right, so it looks like it ain't dark yet, man. The time be changing. All right, it's 7:21 and we still got a lot of light outside. Now, this time last week, well, on a Shabbat, around this time, it was dark outside already, right? Oh, you know what, man? They done pulled a fast one on us. They did some witchcraft. I think we're on daylight saving times now, right? So we springing forward, right? Springing forward. So what time is it for real, for real? All right, what time is it really? What time does the phone say? Somebody, are we on a real time? What time is it? Give me a real time. Look on my phone and we should have a system update. What time is it right now in Tijuana, Mexico? 17:21. It's 17:21 now? All right, so we in daylight saving time, so we in EDT now. All right, we in EDT now. All right. So now we're gonna fall back. Now this is actually how it kind of should look like this. I'm not gonna rack my brain with that, y'all. So right now we in daylight savings time or whatever. You know what I mean? So we got different time things going on. So for the next few minutes, if you on the West Coast, all right? If you're on the West Coast right now, all right? If you're on the West Coast right now, then you are in the first day of the week, right? Oh, it's a small number, Kaya. We'll make it a little bigger, okay? So people on the camera gotta be able to see it too. You did good for the space you had, though. Word up, word girl. All right, so now we in the now. If you in the East Coast or whatever, you on the East Coast time, Eastern Standard Time, or if you even in like Central Time, or if you any place other than Pacific time right now. All right. The Pacific time right now is the first day. We're in the first day of the week, the 5th day of the 13th month, and we have 26 more days, 26 more nights until we begin the first day of the new year. Now, if you in any of those places outside of the west side, the west coast, all right, you in Arizona. Well, I don't know if Arizona is on our time or not. No, I think Arizona is still on our time. But if you over in Central, Mountain, or Eastern time, and then beyond, going into Nigeria and going into India, right now, you in the second day of the week. You in the 6th day of the 13th month. And you have 25 more days until we get to the new year. In that case, Passover is going to be for you in 38 more days. And then the Feast of Unleavened Bread is going to be in 39 more days. Now, if you're in a Pacific time zone, Passover is going to be in 39 more nights. So when this night falls, which is going to fall during this broadcast, we all going to be on the same page in a few minutes, so don't even trip. All right. Now, the Feast of Unleavened Bread right now on the Pacific coast is going to be in 40 more nights. So in 40 nights, we're going to start celebrating the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And I'm going to explain to you what is the difference between Passover proper and Feast of Unleavened Bread proper. I'm going to explain that to you. All right. So right now, let me see something. Right now, Kadal can you say this word with the vowel points? All right. Can you say this word with the vowel point? What is it? It's Pesach. Pesach. Right? Pesach. All right. We know it as Pesach. Pesach. All right. All right. So Passover, Pesach, are all of the same ways to say the same Hebrew holy day. Pesach, 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 Passover, and Pascua. And Pascua. All right. So we got Passover coming up. Once again, it's on the 14th day. All right, it begins on the 14th day of the first month. And then after that, you go into the Feast of Unleavened Bread on the 15th day of the first month. When is the month going to start? The month is going to start in 26 more nights. Do it now, but we want to wait a few minutes, and then we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this right here once the sun goes down a little more, so we can show you exactly, what the time is. All right. Let's see. Let me see the scripture right real quick. I know we got a slow start, y'all. So just relax. And y'all got so much to be doing on a so-called Sunday night. I'm really sorry for taking you away from your busy Sunday night. All right, so somebody get the Apocrypha. All right. Now remember, we're dealing with certain principles of balance and certain principles of time. For all you brothers, I see some brothers on here that reached out to me earlier that called me. Okay, we did like a 12-hour phone Torah, Deuteronomy 28, Exodus marathon last night. And I got, I was on the phone all, until like after midnight on a video conference call. Then after that, I stayed up more looking at more biblical educational information. All right. So I didn't get into bed until maybe around 7 something this morning. And then I got back up at 9 o'clock for another conference call. And then I tuned into the latter part of the Hebrew class All right. And then I had some more phone calls to make regarding, our transition toward, different parts of the world. So when you called me earlier, I was knocked out. I mean, I saw some brothers that called me maybe like 20 or 40 minutes, but in my dream, apart from each other, but in my dream world, they was back to back. They was back to back. Somebody called you in real life, and then, hey, come here. And then 40 minutes later, they say, come here. And you be like, didn't you just call me? Just call my name? Like, now that was 40 minutes ago. So I felt like it was 40. It was like right back to back like that. Right now, so what we're going to do, okay, everybody got this. Now, real quick, all right, Kadal Tazayah, Kadal Tazayah and Ayatan, I want y'all to look up this lady. All right, Kadal Tazayah in the video right now, and Ayatan in the video right now. Both you brothers do music. Kadal Tazayah, you good with the ear, and Ayatan, you good with the ear and the notes. So what I want y'all to do is look up this lady and what is her name doing under Passover. Look up this lady, Suzanne Hike Ventura. All right. Her first name is Suzanne. S-U, hey, right, type that in there. Suzanne. Her name is Suzanne. Suzanne. All right. All right. Hike. Haik. You don't got to do all the shifting and all that. And then Ventura. Vantoura. All right. And then put Hebrew music. Because when you look on into that, when you look on the Hebrew, all right, when you look inside the scriptures, and you look at the Hebrew, sometimes you'll see like little marks. You'll see little marks like this mark right here. That's not a vowel or anything. What this is a note. This is a musical note or pause between the words. And then you have several kind of marks like that. You might see something like this under the word. All right. These are musical notes. So what Suzanne Hike Ventura did is she was able to decipher these notes, and it's mathematically precise. It's mathematically correct. And each of the different verses in the Bible has a musical note, a melody to it. And it was preserved within the Masoretic text. It's not written in the Samaritan text or the Greek text of the Septuagint, or even any of the Peshitta Aramaic scriptures, but it's preserved in the Masoretic text. And in there, you can see what notes each verse is supposed to make based on the research that she did, which was written by our fathers. Maybe somebody else did it before her, but she's the first person that brought it to the forefront. All right, so that's why her name is over there. So for time this week, so everybody look up this lady, all the musicians we got out there that can read music and that can write music. Look her up and look at her work. And there's like a body of her work that's out there, and there's ways to go into all of the scriptures and show what note those scriptures made. All right, what note those scriptures made. All right. So we got Pesach, Passover, Pascual. All right. So now we're gonna erase this. All right. Hope everybody got it that wanted it. All right, we're gonna erase Pesach and Suzanne Hike Ventura. We're gonna erase her. And now, as we always do, we're gonna make sure. Let's go into Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. All right. Dark. Read DECP. Dark begins Time count. So the darkness begins the time count for the new moon, for the day. The darkness begins the time count. All right. The darkness begins the time count. All right. So that's the first concept we must understand when we're dealing with time. Let's go into Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 3. Now, of course, we're reading again, not of course, but we're reading from the scriptures, but we're reading from the Stone Edition Chumash. All right, go ahead.
In the beginning of all times, creating the heaven and the earth, when the earth was astonishingly empty, with darkness upon the surface of the deep.
So there was darkness on the face of the deep. So we see them two words right there. In the beginning, there was darkness. So the beginning tells you what the time is. When did it happen? In the beginning. What was there in the beginning? There was darkness. Let's read it from the 1611 Bible. Okay. You can use this. Find it yet? Find it yet? I'm not talking to you. All right, so read that again.
In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and the earth.
So in the beginning, so we see the word beginning right here. That's why we say begins. Where are we? In the beginning. So that's why we say begin. In the beginning, Elohim created the heaven and earth. We know that means that the elements were all created at that point in time. Read.
And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep.
So it was dark, all right? So it was dark. Everybody got that, right? It was dark. So in the beginning, there was darkness. Go ahead.
And the spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. And Elohim said, "Let there be light."
Elohim said, "Let there be light." So we had the darkness first, and then we had the light. Go ahead.
And there was light.
So the light came after the darkness. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And Elohim saw the light, that it was good.
And
Elohim divided the light from the darkness.
He divided the light from the darkness. So there was a division between dark and light. There was a division. Dark and light. Read.
And Elohim called the light day.
He called the light day. So this is day over here. Go ahead.
And the darkness he called night.
So this is night. So dark, night, light, day. Read.
And the evening and the morning.
Wait now, the evening and the morning. So that's what I'm telling you. When you read the Bible teaches you every doctrine that you need to know. It's in the Torah. And so it says the evening and the morning were what?
Were the first
Were
day.
the what?
The first day.
Were the what? What number?
First.
First. Now what is he doing now? When you're talking about, okay, first, second, third, and fourth, what are you doing? What are you doing? When you talk about first, second, third, and fourth, what are you doing? You counting. So you said first, third, and fourth, you're counting. So when did that time count begin? The time count began with the darkness. This is what Yahweh himself is teaching us. So when you want to begin your count like this, or you want to begin your count like this, That ain't what the Father teaches us from Genesis. So this is the beginning. How are you gonna? You cannot argue with the beginning. This is the beginning of Yahweh's word. So if you can't get it right from verse 2 of chapter 1, how are you gonna go into the book of Enoch or the book of Jubilees, all right, or the songs of the holy, the gospel of the Holy 12? How are you gonna go outside of Genesis and try to understand something if you can't even understand Genesis? So what did it read verse 4 again?
And Elohim saw the light, that it was good. And Elohim divided the light from the darkness. And Elohim called the day, the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
So verse 4 says what? The evening, is that in verse 4? Is that 5? All right, so verse 5 says what?
And Elohim called the light day.
I'm sorry, hold up. Just give me that last part, the evening and morning.
And the evening and the morning were the first day.
So when did that count begin? When did he first start? When did he say that the day began? The evening, right? And what was the evening? Was the darkness. And in the morning, because remember, he separated the light from the day. All right, so remember, we have 3 phases of evening. All right, so this is going into the last part of evening, the darkness, when the whole day starts. All right, so the evening and the morning were the first day. That's why we say counting of what? Days. So first is the count, and the time we're dealing with is the days. Plain and simple. That's why we say that darkness begins the time count. You can't get mad at the brother for saying that the day begins at sunrise when it's a little bit of light coming up in the sky, and then you yourself are saying that the month begins at the crescent when it's a little bit of light coming off of the moon. It's the same thing, same principle. Tell me it's not. Tell me it's not. And it contradicts what we see here in Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 through 5. So that's why we say that darkness begins the time count. It's not us that's saying it. We're repeating what the Bible says, what Yahweh have told us from his Torah. So when Yahweh asks you, why do you observe the day according to darkness? Why do you observe the month beginning in the darkness? We can say, because that's the example you gave to us from Genesis. Is he going to say, well, I sent Enoch to explain to you that it began when the crescent and when the first light was at the moon? Okay, well, let's go and see. Let's go into the book of John chapter 5, verse 45. Let's see what role Enoch is going to play. And then after that, let's go to Revelation chapter 22, verse 14. All right, give me Revelation 2, John 5:45.
Do not think.
Go ahead.
Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accuses.
There's only one. There's one that behind the podium right there. There's one that accuses us. There's one that accuses us. Go ahead.
Even Masha.
Even who?
Masha.
What does it say in English?
Moses.
Even who?
Moses.
Even Moses. Even Moses. Even Enoch.
Moses.
Even Adam.
Moses.
Definitely Paul.
Moses.
What about Peter?
Moses.
What about James and Timothy?
Moses.
Even Moses. Go ahead.
In whom ye trust.
You trust in Moses. Read.
For ye had believed Masha.
What?
For had ye believed Masha.
Meaning what? If you would have paid attention to and walked in the way that was presented to you by Enoch. Go ahead.
Ye would have believed.
Correct me.
Believed me.
No, correct me.
Believed me.
No, it said by Moses. If you believe Moses, if you believe the path that's set before you by Paul,
Moses.
by Moses. Read.
You would have believed me.
You would believe Yahweh if you believe in what Moses is saying and walking in what he gave us. Go ahead.
For he wrote of me.
He wrote about Yahweh. Everything about Yahweh in the Torah needs to be researched and examined and taught and understood by you and your family. Go ahead.
But if you believe not his writings,
if you don't believe what we're reading in Genesis about time, about the darkness, about counting the days, we're literally told how to count the days in Bereshit, Akkad, in Genesis 1. Read.
How shall you believe my words?
You're going to have a little bit of problems. How should you believe what?
My words.
Okay, how are you going to believe the words of Yahweh if you have a problem with the words that Masha is speaking? All right? That Masha is speaking. Wasn't somebody using it? So had you believed Moses, you would have believed in me. Read. Okay, all right. So we know now that Yahweh is saying that you got to believe what Moses wrote, because Moses is the one that's going to accuse us. Meaning what? That what Moses wrote is the scale of what is right and what is wrong and what is right and exact, what is fair and balanced. Moses. Let's go into let's go into the Apocrypha now. Get the red Apocrypha over there. All right, so now we're going to go into the Apocrypha. Okay. Let's go into the Apocrypha. All right, watch out for that wires and cables, man. All right, so now, that's the first principle that that's the first principle that we want to address, which is what? Which the darkness begins the time count. All right. Now, if anybody else has any other verse in the Bible that shows us that darkness does not begin the time count, that we have it all wrong from the Torah, then let's go there. Let's go to the other book in the Torah, in the Bible, to show us. And people say, well, everything not in the Torah. Yes, it is. The Most High got everything you need for your eternal life inside the Torah. Everything. Right? That's why Moses said that these words are given to you, life or death. They life, and they're good. All right. So now darkness begins the time count. We're getting up to Genesis. We're getting up to the lesson. I just want to always build a foundation. The more we go along, the more we're going to move to this foundation a lot quicker, especially for those of you that have been following the classes, for so long. All right. So darkness begins time count. All right. Next thing we're going to go into is equity. All right. Give me this right here. Call where it's at. All right, equity. So equity, which is right, Mayasharyam. All right, so Mayasharyam. This is equity. If y'all cannot see that too well, I'm sorry. So right now we in chapter 33, verse 14 and 15. Now, the reason we keep going over these principles is because they're exactly that, principles. If you're reading the Bible and you forget these principles and you're not looking for these principles as you're reading the verses, then you can be thrown off guard. Somebody can give you something false. Somebody can give you a doctrine that's not true. So in order for you to, avoid that, you got to always be on your P's and Q's, You got to always be ready to bob and weave, or to block, or to parry. Somebody's trying to throw a false doctrine at you, or you got to have your shield up. Your shield of faith. You got to have your sword, your helmet. Everything got to be on point. And that's what we're doing. We're preparing you to do spiritual warfare with the Bible. We're not jumping all around the Bible. If you show me a verse and it contradicts, your interpretation of that verse contradicts what we see that of the dark begins the time count, then your doctrine is false, flat out. Because the Torah does not teach that, flat out. Torah does not teach that. Now we're going to go into the principle of equity. What we're looking for when we're comparing and contrasting. All right. When we compare, trying to see if stuff is fair and balanced. So let's go into Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 33, verse 14, please.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 14. Good is set against evil.
Okay, so now good is set against evil. All right, so let's so right here it says that good is against evil. Go ahead.
And life against death.
So it says that life is set against death. All right, read.
So is the godly against the sinner.
So it says the godly. It says the godly against sinner. Okay. And I'm teaching a class, so make sure you're taking notes. All right. In Yasha Allah, the Most High has blessed me to be, a student, a lifelong student, and He's blessed me to be a practitioner of His word, and He's also given me the blessing to be a servant to the people. All right, a servant to the people, and He's also blessed me with the privilege and the honor to serve as an elder and as a judge, as an elder and as a judge. So when I'm teaching you and coming at you with the scriptures, I'm coming at you from a very careful and a very delicate place, because the principles that I teach when I'm going over the scriptures with you are the same principles that I must preach and practice when going into law, when going into Torah, when looking at and reviewing different cases. I can't be unbalanced and unrighteous in what I'm doing as an elder and as a judge. And when I teach you are the principles of life, I'm not teaching you, sharpening up your skills on debating necessarily, but building up your defense from the Torah first. Now you can debate from the Torah and then pivot back and forth, from off of that. All right. All right, so let's go into read that top of that part again.
Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner.
All right, so good is set against evil, life against death. All right, so we got good, el bien y lo malo, la vida, life, y muerte, death. El en Dios, lo bueno en el Altísimo, and we have el pecador, the sinner. So these two are against each other. Go ahead.
And the sinner against the godly.
The sinner against the godly. Go ahead.
So look upon all the words of Yahweh.
Read that again.
So look upon all the works of Yahweh.
So look upon all of the works of Yahweh, and they are what?
Two and two.
So they are two and 2. That means we should be able to point out 2 principles of contrast when we look at the work of the Most High. When we look at the work of the Most High. Let's give an example real quick. I'm going to give you an example. Okay. Let's call this right here. Let's call this a waxing crescent. We're going to call that a waxing crescent. All right. Now, this right here, beside it is called a waning gibbous. So the waxing crescent is white and the waning gibbous is white. The waxing crescent is where the moon goes from black. All right. The moon goes from black to white. All right, goes from black to white. The waxing gibbous, all right, the waxing gibbous, and when it's growing from what? When it's growing from the waning gibbous is when it's going from white to black. So you got the full white moon. So you see how now we see 2 different principles. We see the white and the black, then we see the black and the white. We see the waning, which is getting smaller and weaker, and we see the waxing, which is getting stronger. That's why you see the scripture says that this particular waxed strong. It waxed strong. That means his power was beginning to shine. It's like you what? You do the Daniel sign, wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off, right? So you wax on and you wax off to make it shiny, all right? So those are principles that we see in nature. So when we see, read from the verse of 15 again.
So look
with your eyes. You can see this with your own eyes. Look with your eyes. Go ahead.
Upon all the works,
which includes the moon. Look upon his work, and you'll see what?
2 and 2.
Because you'll see 2 and 2. You'll see a pattern. All right. Go ahead.
One against another.
All right. One against. Now, if you put these one against another, you're gonna have 1. If you put 1 and 1 together, 1 plus 1 equals 1, right? In biology, is that true? In basic biology, that is true, all right? 1 egg plus 1 sperm merges to be 1 body, 1 person. It becomes 1 person. It merges together. It's no longer 2. 1 man plus 1 woman equals 1. They're 1 now. That's what Yahweh told us in the book of Genesis chapter 2. They're 1. All right. So you have to understand these principles when we're dealing with time or when we're dealing with doctrine, whatever it is that we're dealing with, you have to understand these principles. Now, we're going to go to the last one about this particular topic. Let's go into Ecclesiastes 42. And let's go into verse 24. 42:24. Now, this gets into the next principle that we're going to go into. All right. which is called perfect contrast. Okay, perfect contrast. All right, read that.
All things are double.
All things are double. All things are double. Even with three, there's double. You got a proton, an electron, and then you have what? A neutron. But those are all things double. Then you have that neutron in the middle balancing everything out. So perfect contrast. So all things are double. So you have the sun and you have the moon. All right. You have the light. You have the dark. All right. Go ahead.
One against another.
One against another. So the sun and the moon, one is against another. Go ahead.
And he hath made nothing.
So that against is where we get the word contra. Porque contra significa against. Contra, contrast means against. That's why when you adjust your contrast on your little photo editing apps, it goes from light to dark or dark to light. All right. That's where we get the word contrast from. Read that part again about contra. Read that part from the top again.
All things are double. One against another.
Go ahead.
And he hath made nothing imperfect.
He has made nothing what?
Imperfect.
Slow it down. He has made nothing what?
Imperfect.
Imperfect, meaning he has made nothing imperfect. So if he made nothing, all right, which is no, let's say nothing, you can say no thing. Nothing is imperfect. Nothing is imperfect. So when you go into a place and you say, man, you say nothing is imperfect. If you say nothing is imperfect, you're actually saying that everything is what? Everything is perfect. Nothing is imperfect, meaning what? Everything is perfect. And that's why the Most High works with a perfect contrast. All right? That's why there is no Lex Luthor without who? Superman. There is no Vegeta without who? Goku? Say Goku, okay. All right, so there is no no contrast of things if there's nothing on the opposite side of it. So this is what the Most High teaches us, man. That's why if you take a wax crescent plus a waning gibbous, it's going to give you what? A perfect white moon. And now if you take that perfect white moon, the opposite of that is going to be what? The contrast, the perfect contrast is going to be that. So now we say this is the beginning. All right. This is the beginning and this is the middle. All right. This is the beginning and this is the culmination of the darkness and this is the culmination of the light. All right. So that's what we mean when we say that he created nothing imperfect. And this was taught, the so-called white man tried to act like he invented this by saying for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's the same thing this is saying right here. What's the opposite positioning of a crescent moon? What is it? It's a waning. It's It's a waning crescent. All right, it's a waning crescent over here. It's a waning crescent on the left-hand side of the moon. And then you got the waxing crescent on the right-hand side of the moon. And then you got the black moon in the middle. And that's the phase. This is the contrasting of it. The ending, or the ending of the month, the beginning of the month. The ending of the month, the light goes decrease, the beginning of the month, and then the light increases. And then on the there's a little black one. And then on the middle of the month, right here, let's go into the middle of the month. I'm sorry, my bad, right? As you go into the middle of the month, all right, when it starts to go into this phase, what are you gonna have? All right. When it starts to go into, right before it gets to this point right here, what do you have? Because remember, the light is increasing over here. So it's the waxing, 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 waxing. All right. So what do you have? When it's waxing, that's the decrease. When it's starting to wax, the light is getting brighter on the right-hand side. So as the light gets brighter on the right-hand side, before it reaches this point, what do you have? You have this. All right, you have something that kind of look kind of like this, where a crescent moon could kind of fit in there. And once it's full, it's going to start to get smaller again. And you're going to have something on this side. All right. It looks kind of like that. So that's the balance, man. That's the balance. Okay, the 14th day of the month, or the 15th day of the month, and the first day of the month. See, it's art. It's art, man. I need somebody that's a good artist, to help me out with this. So every time, you understand, I don't gotta draw it on the board every time, right? Because that's what we taking up a whole bunch of the time, is me drawing all of this stuff up here. So we need to have like a little board where we just bam, put it. This is magnetic right here. All right. This is magnetic, Magneto, Dr. X, right? Magneto and Xavier, Dr. Xavier. So anyway, this is the contrast. So that's why we say it has to be a perfect. This is perfect. Okay. When the month is increasing, the light starts to increase. When the month is decreasing, the light starts to decrease. Once the month reaches its as the moon is moving toward its culmination in the middle, it's lacking light on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side rather. Then it's filled in all the way. Once it's filled in all the way, it lacks light on the left-hand side, and it starts to what? It starts to wane. That's why you got the waning, the light is getting negative. When you have the waxing, the light is getting positive. So right here is all positive light. Over here, it's void of any light whatsoever. So that's why this is called a light which decreases in her perfection. So now this is the perfect state, and that's when we begin to count again. Right? So let's take all this off the board. Right now, real quick, I believe that we in the the next month, the next day now. So now we can change. The sun is set now. So all across from here to Jerusalem. All right. Well, actually, yeah, Jerusalem right now. I think they still. It's gonna be plus 7, right? Plus 6 on the East Coast. So 7 o'clock. So I don't know about Jerusalem time, but for us here in America, in India too. India's like 12 a.m. Also, if it's 12 a.m. in India, it's 12 a.m. It's in the morning time in Israel too. So right now, let's go. We're in the second day of the week now, and you're seeing this live. Second day of the week, and now we go into the 6th day of the month, the 13th month, and now we have this decreases. We have 25 more days until the first of the year. And now for Passover, we have 38 more days. And for the Feast of Unleavened Bread, we have 39 more days. All right, now, I'm really sorry that, I really can't get to that part of the board too good. All right. But this is where we are, you understand, right now. We have the second day of the week, the 6th day of the 13th month, and we have 25 days until the first, we have 25 days until the first month of the year. All right. So I did the chart last week. Now make the chart yourself, and every time the sun goes down, put the number, change the number. All right. Your days and stuff are always going to be increasing, and then at 7 they start all over again. All right. Your months, that's going to be increasing too. All right. Your days right here, that's going to decrease because that's telling you how many days we have left. All right. Until you're going to be in, how many nights you have left, how many sunsets you have left until you're going to be in the next day. I mean the next year. All right. So now from right now, the next time you see the sun go down, the next night you're gonna have. Right now we have 38 more nightfalls until we go into the 14th. All right. Let's go into give me the book of Genesis. Give me the book of Exodus. Now I'm explaining now about Passover, which is I need a reader. I need another reader. Exodus. Let's go into Exodus chapter 12, and let's start from verse 18. All right. So we're in Exodus 12:18, which is what? Which is Shemot. Shemot, which is Shamwat. Which is what? Which is names. All right. Is that right? All right. All right, so Amaria is correcting me, telling me that we have a vowel point for the O over the wawa. You saw that today, or you just saw it just now in the book, or you see that in the Hebrew class today? Okay, 114. You know what I want, man. Hey, y'all, 114. So this is Shemot. So now we know that this right here is going to make an E sound, an E. Okay? E. Shemot. Shemot, Shemot, Shemot. And we know this is going to make that dot over top of the wawa. We know now that that's going to make a O sound. Shemot. All right, Shemot, 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 Shemot. All right. All right, so now we're in Shemot 12:18, and we are going to go into chapter 1, verse 14 of Genesis. Go ahead. In Exodus. Exodus, read Exodus. Amadio, you give me Exodus 12:18. Ariashan, you give me Genesis 1:14. Go ahead.
In the first month, on the 14th day.
Now, in the first month. Now, we already know that the first month is when the sun and the moon are both passing through the first constellation that they call Aries, which in Hebrew is just called a sheep. Okay, Ayal. Okay, the first month. All right. We went over this. We went over this a few times already, man. Don't forget this stuff. We did the whole constellations last week, and we showed it all throughout the Bible. We went into the Mazarov, and we went into the Hebrew with Mazarwa, and then we went into the circle of the stars. We did that on It's About Time 8, right? We did was that It's About Time 8? And then we showed how the circle of stars is equal to the constellations from Genesis. All right, we showed that. So don't front. All right. And ain't none of y'all send me no message, no inbox saying, hey, this is wrong and this is why. All right. Hey, Shalom Lakah, Charlandine, Mighty Hebrew. All praise to the Most High. Hallelujah. Now seek Charlandine. Hallelujah. What's going on, Trayvon? All praise to the Most High. Hallelujah. All right, so now this is the first constellation. And we know that the sheep, read the scripture, man. In the first day, what?
In the first month, on the 14th day.
On the 14th day. All right, so we're going to erase this. Shemot. We're going to erase this. And we're going to say the 14th day. All right. Now I'm going to show you how Passover starts. Man, this. Wait, y'all. Okay, so the 14th day. Now, the 14th day is going to be in 38 more nights. 38 more nights, we're going to be at the 14th day. Akwakim. All right, that's what we're going to be at in 14 more days. Hey, Shalom Lakah, Shalom, Shakara, and Ratzaza Allah, Yashar Allah, Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High. All right, over on YouTube. Big up. So now, the 14th day. Now we're going to break down how we supposed to do the. First of all, he said what? Go start from the top again.
In the first month.
In the first month. What is the name that the Bible calls the first month? Abib. Okay. So we have A, B, I, B. Now, a lot of y'all look at that symbol for the Aries, and you might see this. You might say, oh, that's the two horns from the goat. That's a pagan symbol. Well, I guess it could be, not the goat, but I guess it could be a sheep. You know, you give them eyes, maybe a little mouth right there in the head, and it's pretty good, ain't it? And I can draw like that. Okay. Bring your little horns down a little bit, or enough of the horns. But we know that Abib means what? When the springtime comes, when the weather starts to get colder. We already went over this. I mean, not colder, forgive me. When the weather starts to get warmer, because you got the ox coming from the house, and you got your hand coming from or going into the house, which is Abba Yab. So you got the ox in the house, and you got the hand in the house. That's when you start to put your hand to the plow with your ox. You take him from his little winter house, all right? And then when you take him from his winter house, you put your hand to him and go to the field. Then you finish working and put him back in his house and go back into your house. All right? Go back into your house. Or you can say it like this. It's when the father uses his hand for his house, when you start to get more active on the outside, right? So it's all springtime, which spring is really summer, because it's the hot season. When we go into Genesis chapter 8, the Most High said hot season and cold season, sowing or planting and harvesting will never cease from the earth. All right. So now, what is my point of this right here? Let's look at this. Now you've been told, okay, this is the Aries symbol. Okay, but check this out. What if I do like that? What is it? Still can't tell, right? What if I do like what? What if I do like this now? Or what if I do like this? See that? So now, what does it look like? It looks like little plants. Now it looks like plants. So now it's starting to look like plants and everything. So now we know on the 14th day, 2 days after that, on the 16th of Abib, what did they do? They brought the offerings, the wave offerings the priest brought before Yahweh, which was the grains from the ground. So this is like a dual symbol. It's a symbol for harvesting, it's a symbol for agriculture, and it's also a symbol for the sheep. All right, so that's what we call a bib. All right, that's what we call a bib. So this right here represents a bib. All right, that symbol represents a bib, which is the first sign of the constellations. And why do I say sign? Give me Genesis 1:14.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
And Elohim said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven.
Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven. Read.
To divide the day from the night.
So when you see these stars coming out, you divide the night and the day. Read.
And let them be for signs.
Let them be for what?
For signs.
For signs, which is Atha, ox, mark. Right, this is marked in the sky. Right, it's already set. Go ahead.
And for seasons.
And for what?
And for seasons.
For seasons. So this season we're dealing with is the season of the Passover. All right, go ahead.
And for days.
Now the day we're dealing with is the holy day that the Most High has given us. Go ahead.
And years.
And the year we're dealing with is what? The beginning of the year. So all these things we see right here are to be fit into the constellations, fit into that paradigm right there. Okay, you excused. Now, let's go back into Exodus chapter 12 and read verse 1 again. Come from verse 1 again. Where you at now? Where you at? 18? Go ahead from 18 again. Salakia.
In the first month, on the 14th day of the
So the
month,
14th day of the month, right here. Go ahead.
in the evening.
In the what?
The evening.
The evening. So now this is where we go into. So we're in the 14th day of the month, but we're in the evening. In the 14th day of the month, go ahead.
Shall you eat matzahs?
So you eat matzah. So when we go into the evening of this 14th day, it's actually going, because remember the day has two evenings. The evening when it starts, going into the evening when it's ending. All right. So you got to ask yourself, okay, which evening? What's that Hebrew say, man? Read that Hebrew, please, for verse 14. It should be like this, right? That's how it should look. It should say, Ba Yawam Ashara Idbiya or Idbi. You see it? All right, read it. Yawam, meaning day. Go ahead.
Hazah.
Hazah, that's day this. That's the right verse. That's day. 18. My bad. You on Ka. Should be a Yan Ka. Yeah, right there. And then it's this is started. Yeah, right here. I really need some. Y'all see that red good? Brighter than the black. So read what it says. Hayawam. Hayawam.
Hazah.
Hazah.
Ladarat. You come.
No, that's the wrong. No, right here. All right, read it.
Barashna. Barash.
Uh-huh. Arbi, okay. Ishar, Yawam, Lakadash, Ba, Irab, okay. In the evening, Ta, Akalwa, you shall eat, okay. Let me go into the other, keep reading. I keep reading the actually, give me verse 6. Salaka, give me verse 6. Give me verse 6. Because I think that's where we have the evening defined in verse 6. Somebody give me the Kumash. I read verse 6. So we're gonna look in verse 6 first.
6.
Exodus 12 and 6.
It shall be yours for examination until the 14th day of the month. The entire congregation of the assembly of Yasha'Allah shall slaughter it in the afternoon.
So slaughter it in the afternoon. And this is the point I want to get to for this 14th day we're talking about. So here's the Kumash. All right, so we're gonna go into Exodus 12 and 6. All right. Now, when you read it, you read in English, I'll read the Hebrew.
It shall be yours
It says, Wa hayalakam. Go ahead.
for examination
It says, La mashamarath. Go ahead.
until
Ayel.
the 14th day
Arba'i. Ishan. 10. 4 and 10. Go ahead.
of this month.
Yawam. It says, La Kadash. Go ahead.
The entire
That's it. Until this month. It says, La Kadash Hazah. Go ahead.
the entire congregation of the assembly of Yasha'Allah
So it said, go ahead.
shall slaughter it in the afternoon.
So it says La. It says La Shakatawa. All right. It says Wa, which is and. Then it says Shakat, which is slaughter. Wa, which is there. It says Atwa, slaughter. Who's going to slaughter? It says Kal Kwahal, all the Kehila, all the Kwahal. It says Idat, the Idat, or the assembly, the gathering people. All right. Yashar Allah of Israel. Now read this last part. Read these last two words right here, man. The last two words in verse 6. Read that. Read the last two words in verse 6, right before you got verse 7. Listen to what it says very carefully, people. And we're going to show you one of the mysteries of the scriptures, because you don't pick this up in the English. You can only pick this up in the Hebrew. All right, you can only pick this up in the Hebrew. All right, go ahead.
Yasha'Allah Bayan.
It says Bayan. Now remember, Bayan means between. So we have Bayan. Bayan what? Yeah.
Ha'ir Bayan.
Irab, Yum. Okay? Between the evening. Man, that's horrible. You can't see that at all, Harvey, can you? Man. So between the evenings. And if you remember we have three kinds of evenings, three types of evenings. All right. When the sun goes down and it's dark, that's going to be the ilta. The ilta. And that's when the sun is down. And when the sun starts to come up again, you have the tazalal. That's when the sun starts to come up again. And then when you have the shadow starting to be cast, all right, like around 3 o'clock or so, that's when you have the nashap. Now the nashap period is what you would call between the evenings. Between the evenings. All right, because now between the evenings, because now we're already going into this first evening. All right, we're going into this first evening of Tazalal. All right, that's when it starts to come up from the daytime period when we fix it, on the day. We fixate it on the period. So the Tazalal is when the sun starts to come up, what we call dawn. And then we have what we call afternoon. Then in the afternoon, After the afternoon, we have what we call the shop, which is when we start to cast the shadow. All right, cast the hard shadow. Give me the Let me see over here. Okay. And like I said, these are things that we learned, as youths in ancient Israel. So now we're in the process of re-educating ourselves the way that we should have been educated by our fathers. Can you to this? All right. Um, all right. So let's see now. Might have these two intermixed. All right. Might have Salam intermixed. Let's go to Nehemiah. Well, if y'all can turn in your Bibles to Nehemiah. All right. Turn your Bibles to Nehemiah and look at Nehemiah. Look at Nehemiah real quick. All right. You can write down Nehemiah 13 and 16 for Tazalal. Write down Job. Write down Job 3 and 9 and 7 and 4. Then Job 24 and 15 for Nashap. Okay. Then you can write down Genesis 15:17 for Al-Ta, the darkness cover. And then you can write down, as I said, Nehemiah 13 and 19 for Tizalal. Okay. All right. Tizalal. Okay. So now, what the time we're looking at, Bayan Ha'irabium, the decreasing and the increasing between the light and the dark. All right. So we got the Tzalal, which is the shadow. Then we have these two I had mixed up. All right. This is going to be the shadow. This is going to be the shadow. And the way you can remember that, the way I'll remember it from now on, is that this one is on the top. And then this one is casting the opposite at the bottom on the other side, like a shadow, right? All right. And then Tzalal, see, long, like a shadow. Right, so that's how we'll remember that from now on. So that's when it first comes in. So now we can erase all of this. All right. So now we know we got the Nashap first when the sun starts to come up. Then we have the Tzalal. And then at the end of the Tzalal, we have hey. Y'all move away from there because y'all gonna move away. Y'all gonna mess up the powers and chords and stuff. So then after that, you're gonna have the what? The Nashap. The Nashap. All right. So that Nashap is gonna be that I'm sorry, not the Nashap, my bad. The Ita. The Alta. Okay. All right. So you have sunrise, sunset. then you have shadow, tzalal, and then you have the itah. Well, in Genesis, in Exodus chapter 12, verse 6, it says, Bayan ha'irabium, which means between the evenings. Between the evenings of what? Of the 14th day. All right? Of the 14th day. So what we're going to draw for you now, I'm going to draw out for you the 14th day. And then we're gonna wrap it up soon. So we're going to... my little markers, man. As the people from Detroit say, little markers is janky. At least they used to say. And I have some up here, man, but I don't know where they are. I have like 2 of them up here that I have recently found. I don't know where they are, no. Huh? I can't use no yellow ones. The marker, the writing is yellow. Okay, give me that. And y'all, whoever's in charge of the purchasing, man, stop buying me these little dollar pack 4 markers for $1, man. Just give me a $5 marker, man. Markers. I used this thing right here for about a week and it's dead already. All right. Now I got a red one is the last one I'm gonna be using now. So now, here's the 14th day. Right? The 14th day starts. You can't even hardly see that. Can you? See that? Let's see this. Let's go on to the 14th day now, y'all. So in the 14th day, all right, it starts. The sun has set. All right, the sun has set, 14th day. Then what do you have? Then you have the sunrise. All right, so the sun, all right, is getting higher. Gets high in the sky. Then once it starts to get lower in the sky, that period is going to be called, well, this period right here is the what? Is the nashap. Is the nashap. So this is the nashap of the 14th day because the sun is getting brighter now. Just like your soul is supposed to go strong in its work of the Most High. All right, your soul gets strong, it waxes, and then when you start to die, your soul gets weaker and you die. Right, in the shop, it's like if you invert these letters, it's napash, which means soul, but nashap means twilight and dusk, or twilight really, dusk and dawn. All right, so now the sun is all the way high in the sky right here. The sun is high in the sky. All right, so now it's noon. So after this time period, the shadows start to get longer around 3 o'clock. So that's when, as it's going down, around 3 o'clock, we have the tzalal. All right, the tzalal. We have the tzalal as the sun starts to go down. All right, you feel me? As the sun starts to go down, we got the tzalal. All right, hallelujah, all praise to the Most High. And you got the scriptures to look up all of these already. I gave all the scriptures to look for these already. All right, so tzalal is when it starts to go down again. So now, got that shadow. So now, when we start to go, now this is all the 14th day, remember. This is the 14th. Remember, this is the 14th. So now as the sun is going down, you feel me? As the sun is going down, what's that last period going to be called? What's the last period called? Al-Ta. Right, very good. So it's called the part of the evening is called the Al-Ta. What does Al mean? Il. What does Al mean? Al means or upon. So the Al-Ta. Now, what period do you have between the shop of the sun rising and the darkness covering the earth? Al-Ta, the first letter means Al. What period do you have between that? Is it Tizalal? So on the Tizalal, that's when that's considered to be between the evenings. All right, between Bayan, the evenings. All right, Ha Irabium. Ha Irabium. Right, between the evenings. Bayan Ha Irabium. Between the evenings. So between the evenings is when you would perform what we read in Deuteronomy 12 and 18. All right, read Deuteronomy 12 and 6 and then Deuteronomy 12 and 18 again. Is that you got to do? Not Deuteronomy, Exodus, I meant to say. Exodus 12, 6 and then 18.
It shall be yours for examination until the 14th day of this month.
So it said you're supposed to keep it and guard it and protect it until the 14th day of the month. Read.
The entire congregation of the assembly of Yasharallah shall slaughter it in the afternoon.
And as verse 6, right? Now it says afternoon, which in Hebrew it doesn't say afternoon. In Hebrew it says between the evenings, which is the afternoon, because that's when the shadow starts to get longer. Because in most places, the shadow, the sun doesn't cast a shadow when it's at around 12. Then after 12, okay, before 12 it gets shorter coming up against from the east. Then after 12, as it starts to go from the south toward the west, that's when it starts to get longer and longer. The shadow starts to grow. So that's the Tazalal period. That Tazalal period or afternoon before the evening, that period is a part of the evening, but it's called between the evening. So we have three words how evening is used in the Bible. All right. We have Irab. What's here? We have Irab. That's the general phrase. And then from Irab, we have the Ita. Another name for Ita is called what? It's called the night. It's called the night. It's also called Kasa, which is called the covering. All right. So between the evening on the 14th day means on the afternoon of the 14th day. Now go to verse 18.
In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, in the evening, shall you eat matzos.
So you eat matzos in the evening of the 14th day. Which part of the evening? After you kill your lamb. So now you're going toward the sunset because you killed the lamb at the Tazalal, which is around 3 o'clock. Okay, go ahead.
Until the 21st day of the month.
So you eat it all that time period. From the beginning, from the 14th day, all right, going into the 15th day until the what? The 21st day, right? So you begin eating it on the 14th day at the evening. All right, the 14th day at the evening, but the latter part of the evening, because it already told us to kill it in the evening, between the evenings. So we only got one evening to go to on the 14th day. We can't go backwards in time. We got to go forward. And this is why you got to pay attention to these classes called It's About Time, because all of the doctrines that we teach are not based on just comparing line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little in the English or the Spanish, but we're looking at the Hebrew. And in the Hebrew verse is often very clear to show you exactly. So quite obviously, if I see a verse they translate in English and said the afternoon, by looking in Hebrew, it says between the evenings. I know that's going to be between two periods that's called evening in the Bible. So therefore, I can deduce. If I can say that Zayathan is between Zayathan is between the brothers. My first instinct is going to be, well, if he's between the brothers, that means he's between two brothers. All right. If I say in the middle, that could be 3, that could be 5, that could be 10. But when Yahweh divided the evening from the day, I mean from the light from the dark, it was light and dark on each side. So when we have between the evenings by Yan, same word we see from Genesis chapter 1 verse 5. When we see by Yan, all right. So between the evenings, so that means there's some type of separation going on. Also, there's some type of division between. There's a distinction. There's an understanding that has to come from this Irabium, because that's what. Remember this word right here, bayan. This is how powerful this word is. You got bayan, right? You add one letter, which means to behold. That means understanding. Okay, that's what they call bina in the modern, bina, or bayana in the ancient. So when you have this bayan, that ha'a means to behold. Check this out. So notice this difference, man. Notice this difference, and now you have understanding. Because you're standing under it. You're not overstanding it. You understand the Most High. You're on the bottom looking up to him. All right. You're on the bottom looking up. All right. So people with this whole I overstand, that's the most Kemetic, Nation of Islam semantics. You don't overstand nothing. You don't stand over the laws of the Most High. You understand it. You stand under the laws of the Most High. You under your knowledge. You ain't over your knowledge. You're under knowledge. All knowledge is the Most High, bro. So you ain't never gonna be over knowledge. So stop saying overstanding. It's understanding. All right. You're standing under it. You're not standing over it. All right. You're not the Most High. He's the highest. He's the highest. So he's the one that has the overstanding of everything. You under the Most High, and you will never overstand him. You will only understand him. That simply means to have a comprehension and to distinguish between the Most High and any other comparable concepts. That's all that means. You can make that distinction. Why? Because the word bayan means to make the distinction. All right. The house, the hand, and the fish. All right. If you in your house and the fish is in your hand, you're gonna know it's a fish in your hand. All right. You know it's a fish in your hand. Or you can put your hand to the fish at your house. And you're at your house with in your hand is the fish. So now you say, okay, I'm ready to chop this thing up and consume it. And behold is just the understanding. Oh man, check this out. Okay, man. Behold it. Behold what? Behold the house, hand, and fish. House, hand, and fish. All right. House, hand, and fish. All right. So that means between. That means between. Bayan. Bayana means understanding, not overstanding. Not overstanding. All right. So stop saying that, man. That's some old Kemetic, right? Kemetic, so-called African worshiping, so-called Hamite garbage, man. That you so-called black people invented, trying to be like somebody else, man. We don't have that in Hebrew. All right. You either bayan or you la'abayan. And the the first word in Hebrew, man, is a bayath. Now, are you in your bayath? When you deal with your bayath, are you in your bayath, or are you under your bayath, or are you outside and on top of your bayath? Do you stand under your house, or do you stand over your house? What do you do? Do you stand under your house? Look up. Are you under or are you over your building? You under it. So you stand under when you get understanding. All right. Now, when you, what benefit does your house serve you when you on top of it? When you overstand it, when you stand over it? Can you see what's going on inside? If you go outside this building and you stand on top of this building right here, what are you gonna see and know about what's going on inside? Nothing. So overstanding is actually meaning you ignorant. All right, when you want to use it in that context of knowledge. The Most High is the only one that can stand over everything and have full spectrum, panoramic on all of eternity, past, present, and future, right now. Look at this pen in front of you and understand that the pen that's in front of you, you just looked at that pen in the past, present, and future. And looking at it presently never exists because time is always moving. The pen is standing still, but time is going forward. If you start counting, count. Somebody start counting. Stop. Now keep counting again. No, you. Now, when you, between your 2 and 3, did you stop counting? Did you stop counting between 2 and 3? Did he stop counting? I'm all right. Did he stop counting between 2 and 3? All right. So did time stop when he stopped counting? Time kept on going, right? So you see how simple that concept is that we can't even understand. You stopped counting, but time didn't stop counting. Your calculation stopped, but the Most High's time keep going on, and that's why we need the constellations, and that's why we need the moon to know the seasons and to know the times that we dealing with, man. All right. So now bayan ha-irabyam, which means between the evening. So you take that and you eat it from the 14th day at the evening, which is actually what? When we go into the 14th day of the evening, we going into what? Into the 15th day. All right, keep going.
Until the 21st day of the month in the evening.
Go ahead.
For 7 days, leaven may not be found in your houses.
Okay, go ahead.
For anyone who eats leavening, that soul shall be cut off from the assembly.
For 7 days. But if I say 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a problem. He said for 8 days, but I got 9. He said for 7 days, but I got 8 days. So that means that my count for the 14th is telling me the exact beginning point in the evening, which is actually the 15th day. And then when that's my first day, the end of the 14th, we can see right here, and is the beginning of the 15th. So we kill it here, and we have the bread, but then we start actually here. Let's go into the book of Leviticus real quick. So the mystery is that when it says the 14th day at the evening, people think that it means on the 14th day when the 14th day starts, but it's not. It's the 14th day as the 14th day starts to go toward the end. All right. Let's go on Leviticus chapter 23. Not you. All right, chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23, and let's go into let's go into verse 15. Read that. So it said the 15th day, the 14th day on the evening, but we're going to prove that that 14th day is actually talking about the beginning of the 15th day. All right. So let's read verse Leviticus 23, verse 5. Read that. Leviticus 23, verse 5.
In the first month, on the 14th day,
Which is right here, the first month of Abib. All right. So we're going to put Abib right here. All right. We're going to just use we're going to put that constellation for Abib so you don't forget that we're counting time from the constellations. Right. All right, go ahead.
of the month, the afternoon, is the time of the Pesach offering.
In the afternoon is the time of the Pesach offering, which is going to be right around here. All right, that's when we do the Pesach offering. All right, go ahead.
To Yahweh. And on the 15th day.
On the what?
15th day.
On the 15th day, go ahead.
Of this month. Is the festival of Matzos.
So the festival of Matzos, the same thing that we read back in Exodus 12, begins when?
15th day of this month.
So it begins on the 15th day of the month, which is the same thing we have once the 14th day is over. We come into the 15th day right there, when the Iltah sets in, which is when the darkness comes in. So what happens is that, all right, I hate to do this too, on April 18th, all right, between 3 p.m. and sunset, you need to have your bread, you need to have your wine, you need to have your bitter herbs, and you need to have your lamb. You need to have those four things between 3 o'clock and sunset on April 18th, because that's actually going to be the 14th day. Now, on April 18th, when the sun goes down, this right here is on the afternoon. Because 3 o'clock is between the evenings of that day. All right. So what we do is this. What we do is show how once the sun goes down, now on that same April 18th, all right, at night, now we're going into what? The 15th day. Everybody got that? We're going to the 15th day now. All right. If you on the YouTube and you don't understand, or if you on Facebook you don't understand, tell me you don't understand, and I can try to explain it a little better. But what I'm telling you is that let's get rid. Everybody got this, right? Everybody got this? Anybody need this still? Erase it, and then we're going to start from the 14th day. We're going to go back to the 14th day. All right? Everybody cool? All right, good. So let's erase all of these things now. So we already showed the documentation now. All right? So now remember, in our Hebrew, we have the 14th day. And then we have the sun coming up and the sun coming down. And when the sun goes down, that gives us the 15th day. But right here is the period called what? What's the period called when they blend together? when they start to blend together and they have the dusk and dawn. What's the word for the dusk and the dawn? Now, Ilita goes into the darkness. What's the word we have for the dusk and the dawn? All right. Right. So in the shop, very good. So we have the in the shop. All right. We have in the shop. All right. So right here we have the nashop. We have the nashop. That's the dusk as the sun is going down. All right. Then after the shop, when it's dark again, we're gonna have the ilita, which is also called what? Also called La Yala. Right? La Yala. Okay. Which means night. Night. And the same thing over here applies over here, coming off the 14th day. So right here, we still in the 15th, we still in the 14th day. But the problem is this. The problem is this. The so-called white man says, okay, bam, 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 bam. Now we at midnight. And that's the problem. Because he counted the day when it's already been dark for a few hours. When Yahweh counts the day when the nighttime comes. So you go from the 14th to the 15th day. But on the white man's calendar, it's still going to say, what? April 18th. So this whole time period that we have right here, from midnight until midnight over here, is what Esau is going to be calling April 18th. Okay, so this is April 18th. So over here is the afternoon of the 18th. Over here is the sunset of the 18th. And then on the same April 18th, you go into the nighttime of the 18th when you start to go into the 15th of Abib. But on the white man calendar, there's only one day that began from midnight over here to midnight over here. So he done put 2 Hebrew days together. And that's why I'm telling you it's better for us just to say on the 14th day, we do this, and then on the 15th day, we keep the unleavened bread. Why? Because for us, it's a natural transition to go from the 14th day, all right, and then the sun goes down, and now we go into what? The 15th day. But because we're thinking like Westerners, we're thinking like people not from the Caribbean, not from the Mediterranean area. We're thinking about people that's not from the East. We're thinking about how Europeans taught us in America, how Europeans do things. Now we got to say, oh, sunset of the 18th, blah, blah, blah. Well, if I'm teaching you about time, I don't want to have to keep going, making reference back to the Gentiles. And that's why I'm telling you, and you need to take responsibility for yourself. What is the exact Hebrew date that we on? And you need to start marking it every day. So you can see for yourself every day. You can go online. Okay, what is the illumination of the moon tonight? Right? What constellation is the moon in today? At sunset, around whatever sunset is in my timeline, my time period. Right? Now we know that on the 14th day, that's April 18th. On the 15th day is also called April 18th. The problem is the sunrise and the sunset is what's throwing us off, right? Because over here on the 14th day, the white man got it on April 18th. And then the sun goes up, it's still April 18th. Sun goes down, it's still April 18th. And then nighttime comes, it's still April 18th until 12 midnight comes. But when the sun goes down over here, it's the 13th day. So it's the 13th, 13th, 13th. It's the 14th day when the sun goes down over here. But then when midnight hits, bam, we're in the 14th. We on the 18th of April. So we're on the 18th of April. So in the afternoon of the 18th of April, all right, we still in the 14th day. Sunset of the 18th of April is when we go into the 15th day. So for us, right here, and this is the main point you have to understand. All right. What's that little, the black one like this that has a little bit of time left on it. All right, let me get a good pen. I guess I use this blue. For us right here, these 2 days blend together. And that's why the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, they blend together by the sunlight and the sunset. And that's why you get your bread and you eat your lamb on the 14th day as the sun is going down in the afternoon of April 18th. And then once the sun is down, you automatically flow into the 15th day. All right, read verse 6. Read verse 6 again. We in Leviticus 23 and 6. Read.
And on the 15th day of this month.
Right here on the 15th day. Notice I'm going from right to left also. So that's to help your brain process a little better of Hebrew concepts, because we go from right to left. All right, we go from right to left when we count. All right, so read that part again.
And on the 15th day of this month.
On the 15th day of this month, go ahead.
Is the festival of matzos.
You see, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the festival of matzos on the 15th day of the month. Go ahead.
To Yahweh, you shall eat matzos for a 7-day period.
For how many days?
7 days.
So let's look at these 7 days. So the 7 days, it's going to be 7 full days. I'm going to erase this now. So it's going to be for 7 full days that you're going to eat the matzos. All right, let's get them 7 full days now. Now remember, you count your days by the sunsets, by the darknesses of the day when they start. So from the 15th, you eat matzos that whole day. Matzazawa. On the 16th, you eat it the whole day. On the 17th, you eat it the whole day. On the 18th, that's the 4th day. You eat it the whole day. On the 19th, you eat it the whole day. On the 20th, you eat it the whole day. And on the 21st, you eat it the whole day. So as the sun is going down on the 21st, and you move into the 22nd, what happened? You finish once the 25 ends. But up here, right before we get started, where we coming from? We're coming from the 14th day. All right, the 14th day, and then the sun goes down, and we move into the 15th day. So you got the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, and the 21st. Now this month is going to start in 25 more evenings. 25 more evenings, all right? 25 more days of darkness. All right, so let's say right now we're in the most of us are in the 11th right now, so-called 11th of March. Okay, so we need 25 days. So that's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in 25 more days, I know I'm doing stick counting. It ain't Roman counting, it's stick counting. All right, Roman counting is this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, 9, 10, 11. All right, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's Roman counting. We're just doing stick counting, okay? So in 25 more days, on this 25th day, we're going to be in the new year, okay? Which is going to give us a bib. So in 25 days, we'll be in a bib. So when you see 25 more days of sunset, which is going to be so-called April 4th, I don't like using those terms no more because I can just tell you the day, the Yawam. I would much rather say day and night to you and counting as opposed to April, May, and June, and all these January, and all these other pagan demons, deities, gods that people worship. I'd much rather tell you the Hebrew and just tell you how many days to count. And then we have to be, more proactive and, get a little bit of, motivation in our spirits and start to count these days properly, in our own homes or ourselves. Okay, didn't understand. Okay, I'm gonna explain it again. I just got a shakara. All right. Shalom, shalom, ikran. Let me go into it again. So this is how each day. So on the 4th of April, and I'm gonna tell you why I don't want y'all doing 4th of April at sunset in your mind every day. Because you're counting Hebrew time, basing it on a concept that's outside the Bible. So once you base it on the Bible first and you start to count your days, as we see from Genesis chapter 1, then your spirit and your mind will have a better understanding, especially when you're marking it every day. So on the 25 more nights, we're going to be in the first month of the year. We're going to be in the first month of the year. Okay, so Shakara. Let me go back now and explain the 14th and the 15th at evening again. Okay. So now, and it's very easy when we understand it and when I explain it from a Hebrew concept. All right. From a Hebrew concept, Limburg Sadasi. All right, let me explain it from the Hebrew. So, okay, right now, take out Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Take that out of your brain right now. Shakara. Take that out of your brain. Don't even think Sunday, Monday. Think Hebrew now. All right. So now, okay. Somebody give me a calendar over here. The support the Sapar Sadwar book. Khan. All right. The water. So now, okay, so we got okay, so on the okay, so now remember, Shakara. Okay, now this is what we're gonna say. Ayandaba, praise how. Anybody I'm teaching you, man, stop saying Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because I believe you bringing curses upon your intelligence when you say that, because you constantly making a reference to the devil and to false deities and to demons when you talking about the holy words that the Most High gave to Moses, man, in the Chumash, in the first 5 books of the Bible. So stop thinking like that, okay? That's the first thing we need to understand. Stop thinking like that. Right now, let's see. I'm gonna do this, okay? Make it very simple. Okay, so on the 6th day of the week, all right, which would be the 14th day of the month this year, all right? Passover, the 14th day, the 6th day of the week, I'm sorry, the 6th day of the week is gonna be the 15th, all right, of the first day. So this is the 16th day of the week, all right, and this is the date, and this is the month. Okay, that's what it's going to be. Now, the 14th day, of course, means it's going to be on the 15th day, and that's the 14th day of the first month. So that, okay, so now, okay, so Shakara, do I got you? You may want to go over into YouTube, Shakara. I mean, like YouTube, because there's a delayed response. Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Right now, Shakara, right Khan. Well, hold on. That won't be a fair one because we didn't start over here. Let's start in YouTube first. Okay, somebody in YouTube type in the word yes, YES, and somebody in Facebook type in the word yes, YES. Please do it. YES on Facebook and YES on YouTube. Okay, I got the yes on Facebook or on YouTube already. And the brother, okay, I got yeses over here. There were delays. Now on Facebook, we still waiting for somebody to type yes. This is the delay. So that's why if you following on YouTube, it's easier to interact with you because there's not as much delay in what I'm saying and it being transmitted to where you are. Okay. So if you can follow on YouTube, Shakara, that will be easier to go into this particular aspect. Okay, Trayvon. Okay, so that came over a little bit of latency. All right, hallelujah, the water, everybody. Okay, now, okay, Shakara. This is the chart that you wrote down in your notes. So you understand this chart, right? The 6th day of the week, the 5th day of the first month. You understand that, right? Okay, it's easier to see. All right, so this is what we're going to do. What is it? Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can let it be a little more clear for you on YouTube. Okay. All right. Let's see. We got 5. We have 14 on the first month, 5th day of the week. So you see that Shakara, right? Can you see that Shakara? I don't know if that was a con for me. Can you see this good? Can you put in con again if you can? This blurry? She said she can't see good here. La. Okay, well let me. Okay, can't see it over here. All right, well, I guess okay. Maybe you can listen here. We can talk back and forth here, and then maybe look on Facebook some kind of way. I don't know. All right, so you can go. I guess go ahead back over to Facebook. So on the 5th day of the week, okay, when we go into the first month, on the 5th day of the week, we're gonna go into the 14th day of the month when we're supposed to take our lamb and slay it and kill it between the evenings, which would be about 3 p.m. So let's say on the 14th of the month at 3 p.m. And another thing, I would like to put 1,500 hours. Let's say 1,500 hours. All right, so okay, I know everybody can see that, right? Everybody can see that. Okay, good. Okay, so now on the 5th day of the month, the 5th day of the week, rather. All right, because this is the week. This is the weekday. This is the month day, and this is the day of the month. Okay. So on this day at 3 o'clock. Now remember, we're not talking about no Gentile nothing. We only talking about Hebrew days. So you got to do what I'm asking y'all to do and write these numbers down in your little books, man, so you can start taking time to see what time we're actually in. Okay, what time we are actually in. You got to take responsibility for that. All right. So now, on the 5th, after we go into the 5th day of the week, all right. This is, remember, the weekday. That's the weekday. This is the weekday. All right now, after you have this weekday, now this right here is the date. Okay? The date. And this right here is the month. So the 5th weekday is the 14th day on the first month. So now what happens? On the 6th weekday, we go into the 15th day of the first of the month. So this is going to be the feast of unleavened bread. And this is going to be the Passover. And if you did it in March or if you did it in February, you didn't do a Passover, you did a pass under. You did a pass under. So you got to do another, you got to do it the right way, Passover. So on the 6th day of the week, we're going to enter into, now this is after the new month starts. So remember, we got 25 more nights. The day begins in the nighttime. So we're counting the nights, which is the sunsets. So in 25 more sunsets, we're going to be in the first day of the first month. First day, okay, of the first month. So that's where you begin your count for these days. So now, once we go into the first day of the first month, let's tell you where we're going to be at. The first day of the first month, of course, we're going to be on the, all right, so we're going to be on the 6th day of the week. All right, we're going to be on the 6th day of the week. All right. We're going to be on the 6th day of the week. Which means that, now let's do this all over again. Okay. I'm going to draw it out for you, okay? I'm going to draw it out for you. All right, so let's draw it out. Let's draw it out, but when we draw it out, we're going to draw it out from how the Hebrew month is going to be. All right? Because the 6th day, the month begins on the 6th day. All right? Okay, so now, say 1, 2, next on the screen, you can see the line. 3, is that okay, man, you think? 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Go over this again. Put some red. Hope this creates a nice little effect on your screen. All right. Okay, so now we're gonna section this off from left to right. Okay, so we're gonna to over here. Here. Same place. And then here. To over there. All right here, let's go ahead and just make this just a little bit, kind of divide it up a little bit, all right? All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, we got 4 weeks. All right. Now, these are the days of the week. All right. Now, come back over to YouTube real quick, Shakara, and tell me if you follow me. If you follow me, repeat the word I'm typing over here. All right. Say the same word back to me, which means okay or in order if you still follow me in YouTube, and I'll wait. All right, so I don't see nothing, but I'm assuming you still follow me. And if not, I hope the other people are. So now this is the first day of the week. This is the second day of the week. This is the third day of the week. This is the fourth day of the week. This is the fifth day of the week. And this is the sixth day of the week. And this is the seventh day of the week. All right, so everybody got me? Okay, all right. Okay, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know what? That might be too complicated. That might be too much. Right, Amaria? I mean, yeah, 'cause for you it ain't, right? But you know, everybody. Torah living. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many days do we have in creation? 7. How many days a week do we have? 7. All right, we have 7. So when we go into this month, this time period right here, when we go into the next month, all right, on our calendar, it's going to begin on the 6th day of the week. Now this is going to be a bib. So we're going to put a filled in circle for the beginning of the month for Passover. That's the beginning of the month for Passover. That's the first day of the month. So day number 1 of the week of the month is on the 6th day of the week. All right. So that's day number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Everybody can see that, right? This is all you really need. So all you need to know is that in 25 more nights, we're going to be right here, the 6th day of the week and the 1st day of the month. 6th day of the week and the 1st day of the month. So now what happens is on the 14th day of that month, which we know is going to be the evening, the nighttime. All right. So this is the this is nighttime. Nighttime. All right, nighttime. You have nighttime. Remember, you have the the darkness. Then the sun comes up. You got the darkness again. So darkness, sun comes up, darkness again. Darkness, sun comes up, darkness. Darkness, sun up, sun down, darkness. Darkness, sun up, sun down, darkness. See, we don't got to go through all that. On the 18th day at evening, because it ain't the 18th day. It ain't. This is not April 4th, bro. This ain't no daggone April 4th at sunset. This is the first day of a bib. This is the first day of a bib. Ain't no sense. We gotta stop living in this illusion that these lying people have given to us to count our time according to their calendar. You know, you might have to do it when you're dealing with their systems or going to the doctors, making different appointments, things of that nature. But for our calendars and what we're doing, all we got to do is count the nights. And I'm telling you how many nights. So once we get to this point right here, once we get to this point, this is 25 nights from today. This is the 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. Like I said right here, 38 days is going to be the Passover. And then in 39 days, it's going to be the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So don't worry about sunset of the 18th and sunset of this. Only time you got to worry about that is when you're talking about booking hotels, or you're talking about getting your tickets, or you're talking about flying somewhere, or making reservations anywhere. That's all you got. Or outside of the Hebrew system, now you got to worry about April. But the April, May, June, that shouldn't be your go-to calendar. You should know, okay, well, I want to make myself a little note that this right here is going to be, I'm going to put it right here on the other side of this darkness, because this darkness represents the sunset. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put on here real small as I possibly can. Small as I possibly can. I'm going to put at the bottom. I'm going to put 4-4, which means April 4th. Over here, I'm going to put at the bottom, small at the bottom, I'm going to put 4/18, because that's April 18th. And then over here, small, I'm going to put again 4/18. Why? Because this ain't midnight. See, these lines on white people calendars represent midnight. On our calendar, they represent the division between the days, which is darkness. So if I tell myself on here, well, this is April 18th on this side, and that's April 18th on that side, I already know. All right. So if it's on the 5th day over here, that's time. Okay, that's so-called Thursday night on a white man's calendar. But for me, it's going to be the 6th day. Now, the 14th day is beginning over here. But see, we ain't got to go through all that, though. I'm concerned about the 18th. That's when my holy day is going to start, as the sun is going down. And that shows me right here, okay, I'm going to have a little bit of light Then I'm gonna have darkness. Then I'm gonna go into the 15th day. But don't even worry about, because that's too complicated. Keep it simple. All right. Keep it simple. All right. Keep it simple. So discount your days, man. And when you go on a white man's calendar, now you can say, okay, well, yeah, this is what we got to do because we got this plane reservation. We got this train that we got to catch. All right. Or we got this payment that we got to make. Now you deal with his calendar for him and deal with your calendar for you and yours. And your life will be so much more easy. Instead of you saying, oh, so that means that sunset on Thursday. No, you got to say, no, ain't no such thing as sunset Thursday. We dealing with the 5th day of the week. All right. And then sunset Thursday is what? The 6th day of the week. So we skip all that Gentile stuff, go to the 6th day of the week. That makes perfect sense. So this is your calendar to mark the Passover. You count these days to 25. And now, like I said, on the 30, now on this day, all right, once the 5th day comes in, what are you going to be doing, you little girl? Once the 5th day of the week starts, what are you going to be doing maybe a few hours after the 5th day starts? What are you going to be doing? A few days after the 5th day of the week starts, what are you going to be doing? Amari, what are you going to be doing? A few days after the 5th day starts, a few hours after the 5th day starts, what do you think you're probably going to be doing? The 5th day of every week. A few hours after every day starts, what do you think you're going to be doing usually? Getting ready for bed. Getting ready for bed or sleeping. You see? So when the 14th day starts, you're about to go to bed. When the sun comes up, now, because over here you took your lamb to your house. You brought the lamb to you over here, right? On the 10th day. Now on the 14th day, between the evenings. What's the evenings? The evening is over here when your day started, and over here when your day is about to end. Before the dark goes down. You see that? It's simple, man. It's easy. So before the sun goes down, I know I got to do what? I know I got to kill my lamb. I got to kill my lamb, and I got to cook it. So now when the sun goes down, I'm already eating my lamb. I got my wine. I got my bread, and I got my bitter herbs. So now I can eat that, a feast of unleavened bread. On my Passover, I need to have my bread, and I need to have my wine. My bread and my wine, that's what I need. Now I can have the bitter herbs, but it says that I got to definitely have that bread and wine on the Passover, which is that time period, right? So now once the sun goes down, I can eat my lamb, and I can eat even before the sun goes down, I can eat my lamb, and I can eat my bread, and I can eat my bitter herbs. But once the 14th day starts, I'm chilling, I'm going to sleep. I wake up in the morning, let's say 6 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, you wake up, it's still going to be the 14th day. So now, Zayatan, when it's the 14th day, now at 3 o'clock, you know, you got to take your little sheep, your little lamb, you got to take your little lamb, and then you kill it, right? You kill it. And then once you kill it, what happens? You cook it. We ain't gonna be, we ain't having no eggplant lamb. We're not having no tofu lamb. We have a real lamb, all right? We have a real lamb, a real male young sheep, all right? Which is, right here, first day of the month. That's the symbol. That's the symbol. Now, that's on the 15th day. Now, it just so happens that on the 16th day right here, now, well, we're not going to get into all of that. So all of these days, right? One, say it with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And 7. And 7. These are the days from Count Chocula. All right. So that's the days that we got to keep for the Passat. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Now that is a real accent. It ain't just Count Dracula, but they do talk like that in in Transylvania area type like that, in Romania or whatever. All right. So 7. So now on the 21st day, bam. This is the whole day. There's no need for sunset. There's no need for you to say in the evening. There's no need for you to say none of that. Why? Because this is the beginning evening. Now you can actually see it. Here's the beginning evening of the first day. And here's the ending evening of the first day. And what am I going to see when I come from over here? Maybe around the second or third day, what I'm going to see is a little bit of that. A little bit of crescent. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What am I going to see right here? I'm going to see a half moon, what they call the first quarter. First quarter, because you're going to have another quarter moon at the end of the month. So what am I going to see right here on the 14th day? What's it going to look like? It's going to be white. All right? It's going to be white on the 14th day. Well, 14th, but remember now, we focus on the 14th day. You ain't going to see it right there when the 14th day starts. You're going to see it as the 14th day is going into the end of it. All right? You're going to see it. Because remember, this is the night, and this is the night, and this is the night. All right, so this is the night, this is the night. You're going to see it somewhere around here. You might not see it when it starts, because remember, everything is going to transition. All right, so if you look at the 14th day of the month, you should, between, and the 14th, let's put it like that. The 14th and the 15th, you're going to see that. All right. And where it, now everybody got that, right? Everybody got that? Shakira, Trayvon, Lindbergh. All right. Everybody got it? So when you can actually see it, man, it's so simple, it's so pure, it's so beautiful. You got 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days. 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7, man. You got 7 days, man. You got 7 days, like it's forever. 7 forever. 7 forever. All right. So now what we have, the next day, all right, of the month, the next month rather. Let's go into this real quick. It's going to begin right here. On the Sabbath day. So you're gonna have a Sabbath day when you can cook and stuff. So it's gonna begin on the 7th day, and that's when we're gonna be where? We're gonna be in the goat. I mean the bull, another sacrificial animal. All right. So now you're gonna be over here. All right. Now, if you just know the days of the week that the month is gonna be in, man, you straight, right? So you know, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know in this 5th week, I'm gonna begin my new month. Why? Because in the 5th week, gonna be 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. You see, that's already we know, Amaria, that the next month of a bib is gonna have how many days? 29 days. We just, because it starts right here. So that means whenever I get to my last week, my last week is gonna be on the 6th day. That's easy, ain't it? Man, that's easy. That's easy, man. Man, that's easy. Trayvon, don't even front, bro. That's easy, ain't it, man? Trayvon, you know that's easy, man. Ain't it? That's easy, man. That's easy. Shakira. It's easy. Exactly. Perfect contrast, perfect count. Is equity right there. Why is there equity? Because when the moon, see if you was paying attention. No, you. When the moon is right here, what constellation is it in? What animal? The lamb. What family does the lamb belong to? What kind of animal is it? Anybody? What kind of animal is a lamb? Anybody?
A goat?
No, it's a whole different animal. Esau is the goat, we the lamb. Read Daniel 8:21. It's a sheep. Right now, when it's opposite to that constellation, Amaria, what constellation is it going to be in? No. This one. Scales. The scales. It's going to be on the scales now, man. So down here, in this constellation, on the 14th, 15th, it's going to be on the scales. All right, it's going to be in the scales. Why is it going to be in the scales? Because Yahushua is going to pay the price and make everything good between us and the Most High. There's no more imbalance. He's the payment. So when you pay for it, if you give me enough money for 2 pounds of frankincense, what do I got to give you? 2 pounds of frankincense. So if this is the gold that you just gave me, all right, and this is the frankincense right here, what do I got to do? This is the gold you just gave me. This is the frankincense I'm supposed to be giving you. Show me. Do what needs to be done. You do it. Do what needs to be done. Go ahead. Do what needs to be done. Bam. That's what Yahushua did. We owed Yahweh a terrible debt for our sin, our wickedness, our disobedience from Adam. So now every generation forward and every generation looking in retrospect too, they recognize the messiahship of Yahushua on the 14th and the 15th day of every month, of the first month of every year. And when we do that, Amaria, what happens? All right, here's our payment. All right, here is our sin, and here is our payment. And we could never do what Yahushua does now. So here's the scale, here's the balance. What does Yahushua do? Yahushua does that. He pays the price. And that's why we celebrate Passover in the constellation called the Libra. The Libra means a scale or a weight. And that's why we celebrate Passover during the constellation. And that's the constellation of the weight of the scales. And that's what it means in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, when it says, these things in the sky are for signs, seasons, days, and years. The seasons is the constellations. All right. The seasons are the groups of stars that Yahweh put in the sky. All right. And it's all centered around what? It's all centered around the constellations. That's the only consistent thing. Now we know based on what? We know based on our counting system that had it been 30, we'll say 1, then you got 1, 15, 22, 29, and then 30. All right. So we know what we started right here. Again, it's going to be 1, 15, 22, 29. All right. So let's see. Let's count this again, man. If it starts over here, we got that means that this one is going to end right here on 29 days. All right. If it starts in the same day of the week, that means we're going to have what? 30 days, right? So let's see. Let's see the third month when it starts. When does the third month start? Okay, third month is going to start on the first day of the week. All right, it's going to start on the first day of the week. All right, so the third month, well, I'm sorry, the third month is going to start on the first, which is going to be really it'll be a second Hebrew day. All right, right there. The second Hebrew day, which is going to be right there. So you're going to have this one's going to have. So you have 28, 29 days again. All right. Then we're starting. All right. You have one. All right. 1 day. Then you're gonna have 1 day. Then 8 days, 15 days, 22 days, then 29 days, and then you go over to 30 days. Then the month is gonna start. All right. On this day right here, 22nd day of the month. Okay, 22nd day of the month. That's when the month is going to start. All right, that's when the month is going to start. So when it does that, that's like, you know what? It's going to be 29. It's going to be a 30-day month. So we went from 30. Now we got a 29-day month, the first month of the year. Then we got a 30-day month after that. So now in the book of Enoch, it says that the months are going to be 29. It's going to be 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. Well, we see that that's not true from this simple model we have right here. All right, this simple model we have right here, we can see if that's not true. All right, that's not true at all. So that's how you figure out your calendar. And once again, man, stop using a Gentile calendar for Hebrew days. Make your calendar from right to left. All right, right to left, and then count your days. And 25 more nights from tonight, we're going to be in the new year, which is right here on the 6th day of the week. All right, so that will be, if we got 25 more days, that will be for this right here. And right now we're in the first day of the week. 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 25 right here. All right, so we got 25 more days. And when the 6th day, that means we have 30 days, right? We have 30 days. All right, so that means that we got 25 more days left until the month starts. That means we have approximately, we just did a Sabbath, right? So the next Sabbath is going to be in how many more days? Plus 5. So then we have 20 days left. So we have like, what, 3 more Sabbaths. All right, so in 3 more Sabbaths, that's going to be like 21. And we're going to start on the 6th day of the week. All right, so after that Sabbath, that's going to be the last Sabbath of the month. All right, it's going to be the last Sabbath of the month. Then all of this week. All right, then we're going to come to this day. All right, so this is going to be like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 20, 19. All right, so that's 19 days. So we have 19 days left right here, which means that up here we would have had 26, which was yesterday, right? So it gets, so you can do a whole bunch of little different math arrangements on here, but we get the general idea, right? Yeah. All right, so I hope everybody understands that. This is your New Year calendar. These are the days of the week. In 25 more days, we're going to be right here. 25 more days, we're going to be right here. All right, right there, exactly. Okay. So that's where we're going to be at. All right, that's where we're going to be at. In a couple of more a couple, just a few more days, we're gonna be right here in this constellation. All right. Well, at least I know that the moon is gonna pass through that constellation, and the sun is gonna go into that constellation. Also, and like I said, I'm working on this calendar, Yasha Allah, and as I'm working on this calendar, I'm trying to make sure I show you where in the constellations these things are. I had a team working on these things and trying to get these things together for me, but we've had other issues that we've had to deal with, as part of our collective forward growth, what I'm saying, as families and nations together, or families and communities together. So this is where we need to get to, all right? So that waxing crescent is over here, somewhere over here. I mean, that waxing crescent is going to be over here and over here, which is subsequently going to put you into the wrong constellation. So if you look into these constellations for signs, seasons, days, and years, if your Passover doesn't line up with the right constellation, like it tells us in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, then we wrong. We wrong. And that means that we're using another book to give us that information, that book is wrong also. That book is wrong also. All right? Okay, so, and this can vary by, a day or two each year, but watch what constellation Israel and Yasha, because Yahweh is the propitiation. He's the payment for our sins. And when you pay the debt back then, that's why we got a gerah, we got a shekel, okay, we have a talent. These are all weight measurements, and you had it weighed on a scale, and then you would put what you wanted on a scale, and what you wanted had to balance out to what your payment was. So 2 pounds had to be the same. If it was off, one would be higher, then somebody would be getting cheated. All right, somebody would be getting cheated. So that's why everything has to be balanced. So Yahweh paid the price for our sin that's prophesied from back in Genesis chapter 1. I'm sorry, Genesis chapter 2. All right. As we see beginning of Genesis chapter 3, right? We see him prophesied in Genesis chapter 3. All right. Of wounding the head of the seed. All right, so that is about it. Once you get this calendar of 7 weeks down packed, of 7 days, once you get that calendar of 7 days down packed, and you get when the month starts, you don't got to deal with the Gentile calendar more, and you can deal with your own calendar, and you can see it with your own eyes, and it's going to be a lot more easy, all right, to figure out, what you need to be doing, all right, for Yasha Allah and for yourself and for your family, all right. So, that's it for now. No other questions. So very easy, very simple. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna probably go ahead out, and I've been wanting to do this thing to get the calendar. So I want to go ahead and put something together for the calendar to share with you, so that you can follow along, and you can do this count also, because this count goes right here too. All right. So right now we know that we in the second day of the week right here. And we in the 6th day of the month. So this is right here is Adar 2, and this what? It's the 6th day of the week. Adar 2, 6th day. All right, 6, 7. Let's do a mock count through 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. See that? We got 30 days, and then we can go into this day right here. So we got 30 days left in this month, and then we're gonna have the next day is gonna be the first day of the month. That gives us a total of 31 days from where we are now before we're gonna be right here. So that means if we add this and we add this, we're gonna get 31 days, right? What is the 25 plus 6? All right, well, 5 plus 6 is 1. And then we carry the 1. All right. 5 plus 6 is going to give us 1. And then we carry the 1 and add it together. 2 plus 1 is 3. So we have 31 days. So we know that our model fits within the 7-day cycle of Yahweh. It fits within the correct constellation for the first month, and it fits within the correct constellation, which is the scale for the Feast of Unleavened Bread and for Passover. So, I mean, we straight. We straight. Now, once we get into the 7th month, once we get to the 7th month, it's going to be down here. All right, the lamb is going to be down here. All right. And before we get here, what do we have? What do we have going on? Before we get to right here, we have what? We have the lamb being taken on the 10th day. All right. And what do we have on the 7th month? We have the Day of Atonement on the 10th day. So we have some, very, reconciling times that we have to deal with. 7 days, I'm going to have to kill this, this cute little lamb. I mean, in 4 days, I have to kill him. And over here on the 7th month, on the 10th day, we fasting. We killing that old man. We getting all that leaven out of us. And that's what we preparing for getting into Passover, is getting the leavening out of our spirits, getting that sin, that desire for sin. So when Passover comes over, we partaking of the sacrifice, spiritual sacrifice of the blood and the body of Yahushua HaMashiach, the bread and the wine, the unleavened bread and the wine, representing the sheep, or representing the goat. Representing the sheep or the lamb, representing the sacrifice, representing Yahushua's blood as our sacrifice that we are taking in ourselves, all right, in a metaphoric, type of way, to take on him, and so he is in us, and then we start to reflect, how he acts, how he wants things done. All right. So these are very, everything is related. It all links up together. It all links up together. All right. So this is the calendar. This is the first day. I'm not put over here. It says 4/4. That's April 4th at sunset, when it gets dark. Okay. So I hope that pretty much sums everything up. And everything is straight. How do we come up with the number of days in a month? You just count the time from the new, when the new moon starts, until the last day when the next month begins. All right. For example, I got my book right here. Now I can either count on the Gentile way, or I can count on the Hebrew way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, okay, well, the next day of the month is going to be on the next day of the week, or the second month is going to be on. It's going to begin on the Sabbath. It begins on the Sabbath day. Okay, so-called May 17th. And people want to know how David knew how many days before the new moon. All right, if you're still with us, this is how. Because they had calendars and they wrote stuff down. They had calendars and they wrote stuff down. So now the new the month starts, the new year starts on the 6th day of the week. I'm sorry. Yeah, the new year starts on the 6th day of the week. right? 6 Hebrew day. And Passover is going to be 2 weeks later. Feast of Unleavened Bread is Passover 2 weeks later. All right. And that's going to be on the 5th day of the week. So that's 2 weeks right there. All right. So I know 2 weeks is the Passover right here. So now I'm going to keep counting because I know from my own calculation of when the new month starts, straight up facts, talking to you now, straight up facts, is that once the second month starts, that is going to start on a Sabbath. So I know that the last Sabbath that's going to be after 29 or 30, before 29, after 29 or after 30 days is going to be, the new month. So I know it's going to be on the Sabbath. So what I'm going to do now, all right, if you can see this at the bottom right here, all right, so what I'm going to do is, okay, 21. Let's keep going. 22, 23, all right, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. All right, so I know my month is going to begin on the first month of the 7th day of the week on a Shabbat. So what do I do now? I know this is going to be my new month now. So I know that a bib this year, particularly, is going to have 29 days because I'm actually counting it. I know it starts right here. So let's count it. Here's day number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the Sabbath is very instrumental. Day number 1, 2, Sabbath. Once I see if this is on a Sabbath day, I know that, okay, day number 9 is going to be on a Sabbath day. It's the opposite of what the new moon people do. They change the Sabbath to accommodate. They change the day of the week to accommodate a new Sabbath on a new day. We don't do that. We say what day of the month is going to be on the Sabbath for that particular month. Because the month is changing, not the days of the week. The days of the week are the permanent, eternally fixed platform that never changes. It's the days of the month that's changing because the moon is moving at different positions. All right. So day number 1, 2. So now I know that this is my day number 1. And my next day is going to be the Sabbath, right? So no, I go day number 1, day number 1, and then I go day number 8. 1 plus 8 is 1 plus 7 is 8. All right. 8 plus 7 is 15. 15 plus 7 is 22. 22 plus 7 is 29. Now, since I know my next day is going to be the Sabbath, all right, it ain't the first day of the week, it's on a Sabbath day. Now I can say, okay, this is going to be my day number 1 because I know it starts. Now, this day right here is going to happen to be on so-called May 18th. So-called May 18th. So I can either say this, okay, I can say April 4th at sunset, April 5th at sunset, April 6th at sunset, April 7th at sunset. I can either say that, or I can say, you know what? That so-called April 4th at sunset, that's the 6th day of the week. Okay. My next month, look on my paper, okay, it's going to be on a Sabbath day. So let me count all my days in between there. Or I can just count one time for every week. 1, 2, okay, 1 full week, 2, 3, 4 full weeks. It's going to be the 29th. Because 28 plus 1 is 29, so that's the 29th day, which is going to be 4 weeks out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 weeks, okay, out in a day. All right, so 4, that's the 4 week plus 1. So this is a 4 week plus 1. That's why it's 28, 29. Sometimes we got a 4 week plus 2 days, which gives us 30 days a month, a week, 30 days in a month, which is what we're going to have for this month that we're in, the 13th month of the year, the Adar number 2. We're going to have 30 days in this month. All right. So you got to actually write it out and then just count it, But your best way to use it, and when you're counting it, is to count the Sabbaths first. All right. Because the Sabbath, I'm sorry, not count the Sabbath, but count the weeks first. All right. So we know that every month we know we're gonna have at least 4 weeks, at least 29 days. So we know we're gonna have at least 29 days and never more than 30. The lunar cycle, as we count them, depending on when it happens within the day when it starts, never exceeds 30 days. So it's 29 or 30 days. All right. So once we know it's going to be, the new month is going to start on the first day of the week. We know if we count over here, we're going to be on the first. We know the new month is going to start on the Sabbath day. So once we get to 29, we know if it starts on the Sabbath day, we're not going to say 29, 30, and then go all the way down to 36 again, and then say, okay, now we're going to start the new month. Why? Because it's never going to be 30 days. It's never going to be 31 days or 28 days. It's going to be 29 or 30 days. Okay? All right, so even when you get going to that 30, you got 10, 10, and 10. You got the end, and then you got the middle. And even when you say 29, you have what? 2 plus 9, you have 11. 11 gives you 2. So you got one with the balance and one that's balancing itself. So it's still, even with the 29 and the 30, it's still linking up what we read inside of Ecclesiasticus. All right, so straight up facts. Does that answer your question? Khan La'a? Are you still there? Straight up facts. Does that answer the question? All right, so no. Yeah, the only time Lindbergh Sadasi, the so-called Saturday on the Gentile calendar is really the daytime period of the Sabbath. And Friday evening is really when the Sabbath starts. So that's correct on the Gentile calendar when they say Friday, so-called Friday night is when the holy day starts, Lindbergh Sadasi. So that part is right. So the Sabbath really does start on so-called Friday night. Where they can throw us off that is how we count our days, because they counting from midnight and we counting from sunset. So this calendar that I wrote right here is not a calendar for midnight. This is a sunset calendar, and it's working off of the 7 days of the week. Okay. All right, y'all. So I hope everything is okay now. So here's the calendar. In 25 more days, we're gonna be in the new year. And in 38 more days, we're gonna be on Passover. And then on 39 more days, we're gonna be in the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So just count your days out. When I say 29 more days, I'm talking about each day beginning at dark. So you can say 29 more nights. That's when it's gonna begin. All right. So we know that in what? We know that in we're in the second day of the week now, right? We're in the second day of the week. So I know in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more nights I'm gonna be on the Sabbath day, right? 5 more nights I'm gonna be on the Sabbath day, because this begins at night. 3 begins at night. 4, 5, 6, the Sabbath begins at night. So in 5 more nights I'm gonna be on the Shabbat day. And I'll also be on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'll be on the 11th day of the month also. All right. So that's what we have, everybody. So I hope that this was edifying and beneficial. Once again, I'm learning how to teach a little more efficiently. Maybe this was not a 3-hour lesson. Maybe it was, but I definitely think that it's a very contentious and point of debate throughout Yasha Allah. But everybody is really kind of just focusing on their perspective and how they see it, as opposed to we going off of raw data right here. We got everything. We got the weeks. The scriptures already say what it is. We got the weeks. We got the lights in the firmament from Genesis 1:14. We have the scriptures about the contrast. We got this, and then we got this being opposite to each other. See, we got everything right there, man. So, that's how you're supposed to really do it. Now we can go on. I'm not trying to go into a scripture showing you why it's not a crescent or why it's not a black moon. We went into a scripture showing you what the Most High said from the beginning when he said, dark begins time count. We said all of them words from Genesis 1, verse 1 through 5. When we saw the equity, we saw that from Ecclesiastes, what was that chapter? Ecclesiastes, what was that, chapter 32? All right, we saw that in Ecclesiasticus. And then we saw, all right, the perfect contrast. We saw that also in Ecclesiasticus. All right. So I think knowing them scriptures and reviewing those scriptures on a semi-regular basis is going to help us get a better understanding on a regular basis. All right. So when you're talking about the equity of everything, that's Ecclesiastes chapter 32, verse 14 and 15, right? Ecclesiastes 32, verse 14 and 15. That's the equity. And now when you talk about the perfect contrast, that's going to be Ecclesiastes chapter 42, verse 24. 42, and look how they did it. They did a contrast even within the verse. So you got 42, and then you got 24. See, bam and bam. So that 42 and 24, and then you got the other one of 4 divided by 2 equals 2, and 2 times 2 equals 4. So you got 4 and 2 right there, and then of course 2 plus 2 equals 4. All right, so you got them things kind of this little mathematics of the chapter and the verse. So it's chapter 42, verse 24, and it was chapter, what was that, 32, verse 14 and 15? All right, 32, verse 14 and 15. All right, 33, verse 14 and 15, and then 42, chapter 42, verse 24, and then chapter 33, verse 14 and 15. So in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. All right, now, and if you notice, 42 is in all of them verses. 40, not 42, but 14 is in everything too. All right, 14 is in everything too. Because what's so we're dealing with chapter 42. All right, so what's 14 times 3? 12, 1, 42. So the math, I won't say the math adds up, but just little demonstration, man, of the coincidence in the math and how the verses lined up and what it is that we're using them to show and how the numbers form line up too. All right. All right. So you got these are main scriptures: Genesis 1 through 5, Genesis 1:14, Ecclesiasticus 33, verse 14 to 15, and then Ecclesiasticus chapter 42, verse 24. All right, verse 24. So check that out. We pretty much done, for now. Forgive me for not saluting you when we started. Shemai Yasha Allah Yahweh Allahayna Yahweh Akkad Yabaraka Kam Yahweh Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. All right. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh our power, Yahweh is one. Yahweh bless you in the name of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. So that's it for today. I'm gonna take this, you need to sit down at a computer and actually, you know what, man? What I really should do, low key, is I should really just write it up on some paper, man, and just do old school and then just make some copies of it. That's what I really should do, right? Make some physical copies of it, draw it out on some paper, and make a physical copy of it, right? Get like a nice little roll of paper, man. Roll of paper, and then we can have it printed out like that. Then just throw it on your wall. All right. All right, so that's it, y'all. May the Most High Yahweh be with you. And then Yahweh, so let's switch back over, see if anybody got anything else to say on Facebook. All right, everybody. So I salute you out. May Yahweh be with you. In the name of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, Shalom Aleichem.